Hi, this is my first Nerd Mom Reviews review, and I'm not really good at video editing, so I'm going to start out with this amazing title here. There we go. I'm going to review the new Captain America movie, Civil War, which is really more like the next Avengers movie. We took my 6-year-old to see this movie in the theater. He had seen several of the other Marvel superhero movies. We watched Thor and we watched the first 2 Avengers movies. So I thought that Civil War would be something good to take him to. I thought he could handle it. He's usually pretty good in the theater. I was right about that. He did a good job in the theater. He did get a little antsy at times and it was kind of like, oh, this is really long. But overall, he did a good job. I think if your kid is willing to sit through the movies, they'll be able to sit through this. The problem with Civil War, though, is the fact that it really does have a sort of really complex adult plot. There's a lot going on. Going into it, I was a little worried about, confusion for kids in terms of, why are my heroes fighting each other? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? And that did happen. We had to have, some talks about, why are they fighting? Is Captain America, I think he asked, is Captain America going to jail, or is Captain America a bad guy? So you are going to have some of those questions from your kids. You might want to prep them in advance and kind of go over the plot, which is basically that the Avengers have a disagreement about who should be in charge of the Avengers. I think that's a good way of framing it. Basically Iron Man thinks that some governments should be in charge of the Avengers, and Captain America thinks that the Avengers should be in charge of the Avengers. And there's also some other issues just about the consequences of trying to help people and how it doesn't always work, and sometimes people end up getting hurt even when you're trying to help them. So overall, there's a lot of complicated stuff that your kid might not get. But at the same time, I think these are really good discussion topics afterwards for your child. They're, sort of higher level adult things to think about that they might, kids tend to see the world in black and white. And I like to take opportunities with my kids to show them that, it's not always like that. It's not always about good guys and bad guys. Like sometimes good people do bad things. They make mistakes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. And people can have good intentions and still be wrong about things. So if you want to talk about stuff like that with your kids, this is a good way to do it. I wish that I had taken a little more time before the movie started to kind of prep him. I was sort of caught because I didn't want to spoil the movie for myself by looking up stuff in advance. But I wasn't going to have an opportunity to see it twice. So I didn't want to spoil it for myself. So I sort of sacrificed some prep stuff I might have done with him ahead of time. The other major thing here that was really disappointing for my little guy was the fact that there was no Hulk in this movie. Hulk has been his favorite character in the Avengers, so that was kind of a disappointment for him. There's also a lot of talking going on. The fight sequences are relatively short, and they're not until at least like halfway through the movie. There's a lot of like talking at the beginning part. So if your kid isn't really okay with that, if he needs the action, then you might want to wait for this one to come out on DVD. But one thing that he really did like was the introduction of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is definitely a teenager, definitely a kid, and he really identified with him. He said afterwards that Spider-Man was his favorite character in the movie. He got that Spider-Man is very chatty, and he's not really your normal superhero, but he's more like him. He's more like a kid. So I think he's going to be really excited to see any new Spider-Man movies that come out, and I hope they really follow along with that, because I think kids are very into superheroes that are like them. So overall, I think the experience was pretty positive for him, but at the same time, he's kind of like, this is, it's long and there's stuff here I don't understand. So if I had to do it over again, would I take him again? Um, I would probably wait until it came out on DVD. If he was a little bit older, like maybe 7 or 8, I think this would be good. He's kind of mature for his age in terms of being able to sit through movies. So I would say most kids, 9 or up, are going to be good with this. You might want to do a little prep work in advance to kind of introduce some themes and concepts to your kids, but otherwise, yeah. So overall, we enjoyed it. I feel like I should probably figure out some sort of rating system to give these things that I'm rating, but at the moment I'm not that nuanced. So those are my thoughts on the Captain America movie. Thank you for watching.